This seating area was almost completely lost, and restoring it turned out to be far more involved than I expected. What should have been a simple tidy up was actually years of neglect layered on top of itself. The gravels turned into a lawn, the planting beds were completely overwhelmed, and even the seats needed some work. Once I started digging into it, I realised this wasn't just maintenance, it was a full reset. And I knew I wouldn't be finishing it all in one go. Okay, so like the paths on the mosaic, this area is supposed to be gravel. You know, it's all a bit overgrown. See the chairs, you know, there's nothing wrong with them, but they just need a bit of TLC. We do have some paint to actually repaint them, so when the weather improves and it gets a bit warmer, we'll be able to paint them. But behind it's supposed to be, not that you can tell, like a planted area. It's completely overgrown with like ivy. Obviously you've still got some like nice bushes and trees in here, but it's just completely overgrown. Right down there. So the idea is we'll get all this cleaned out, and then we can till it all, and then I've got new plants and some other stuff to go in, which I'll show you in a minute. So this seating area sits alongside the mosaic area I've been restoring, and the idea is quite simple. It should be somewhere people can stop, sit, and enjoy the space, a quiet spot to take a break. But over time it's just disappeared. The gravel's turned to grass, the seats have faded and rusted, and the plant area has become completely overgrown. Today, I'm just focusing on reclaiming this space. Oh, God. You just hear me groans there. But when you're doing work like this, sometimes the hardest part is often just starting. And it can look overwhelming at first. But once you begin clearing, you start to see the shape of the space again. I'm gonna have to get a bag. There's a tiny bit of broken bottles and rubbish in here. A lot of this is just unmanaged growth, and ivy's climbing through everything. Weeds have had years to establish themselves. So it's not about stripping everything bare here. It's about bringing it back to a manageable state.
No gloves.
The ivy can be great for wildlife, but when it takes over, it stops any space function as intended, and it's all about balance. Hopefully we can restore that by the end of this. A load more. Oh, I just went all over his. God. I see like a full on party in here. I got it. Sorry. Right, you can sit there if you want. I'll move all my stuff. I'll move all my stuff if you want to sit on one of these ones. Bit of a small turning point here. I haven't been at this for long, and already people want to sit down on the benches. And for me, at least, that means that this is worthwhile doing, just for that. So the gravel areas in front of the seats have basically turned into a lawn. Years of soil build-up and seed drop have completely changed the surface. I decided to rotate the gravel to break up the grass and the roots. It's not perfect, in fact it creates its own issue. The gravel is now mixed with soil. So this isn't the finished surface, but in the next part I'll be screening this properly and bringing in some fresh stone to restore it. But for now, it's about removing the grass and resetting the base. Oh, shit. Really. Hello, mate. Right. But means I can rake out the majority of the weeds. I think what I'm going to have to do is the stuff behind is so full of ivy that I cannot get that with that strimmer. I'm going to have to bring the big strimmer up. So I think the best thing I can do is clean as much of the debris off as I can get, pick all the rubbish up, and then we'll bring the big strimmer up tomorrow and just smash it all out so we can turn it back into flower beds. More bottles. Ah, Jesus Christ, man. More bottles. Oh, it probably doesn't look a ton different on camera at the minute, but I've knocked all the ivy down, which means I can get into it now and start cutting it out. But the piles of rubbish that I've got is absolutely phenomenal. The amount of bottles that I've found as well is ridiculous. But we'll trim this again, blow it off, and hopefully we'll see some soil. So we've got all these dug out. Still the bags of rubbish over there. These obviously need screened, but until it dries out, we can't screen any of this. This area is pretty clear. That area is mostly clear. Just got a big pile of rubbish to get out there and a little bit of touching up behind there. But obviously, as you go further down, you'll see it's still completely covered. So we need the strimmer on there, and then we'll rotivate it, but it's far too wet to rotivate now, so it's been raining all night. So that's not getting rotivated either. But obviously the plan is to put loads of new flowers in here. We've got a couple of 100 bulbs. So we are halfway, so let's have a look where we are. That's all cleared, that's all cleared. Once it dries up a bit, we'll be able to get that planted. This is the other half now, which is absolutely caked still. Most of it is leaves, but if you look, there's still a bit of rubbish and there's a lot of ivy. So we need to get this back to soil, and then that down to there. So we've got some bug hotels to install. Obviously this area was covered in like weeds and everything else that was growing here, and we've cleared it to put flowers in, which is obviously, there's nowhere for the bugs and the butterflies and all that sort of thing to hide. So we're installing some of these along the fence line where all the other stuff is to offset that. You see there, we've got the first one in there. What colour do you call that? Cyan? Well, I don't know. This one's yellow. But you might see a few of these round when next time you walk through the park, because we're trying to install as many as we can. Just a quick note on those bug hotels. I have moved them up on the fence line. I didn't realise, I thought they would, with being bugs, you'd think they would have to be on the floor. But I got told that they need to be up a height to stop predators getting to them. So that's what I've done. And now that the area is cleared, it starts to feel a bit different, almost immediately. It looks lighter and it's a bit more open. And this is where we start putting something back. So I was joined by my brother. We've got about 250 bulbs to go in this area. And even though it doesn't look like much now, come the spring, this space should be full of colour again. And this is the part I enjoy the most, when you start to see improvement instead of just removal. Across the area, we've added roughly 8 tonnes of mulch, with more to come. It helps suppress weeds, retain moisture, and gives the whole space a finished, intentional look. Okay, so we're back down in the seating area. I've got some bulbs here because, as you'll have seen, we'll put all the mulch in, like 8 tonnes of it, which means that we didn't get a chance to get as many bulbs in as we've got, and I still haven't done them all. So I'm back doing some more today. I thought I'd just name a few and try and put some pictures on the screen of what they should look like when they're fully grown. And I'll probably butcher these names, so don't take the mick. But we've got Oxalis Iron Cross, Freezer. They're all mixed and quite colourful. And some Allium Oxalis as well. Anemone. God, the pronunciation's terrible. So I've got a lot more in today. That's enough for today. We've got more to get in, which I will get done. And we've painted 2 of the benches. Just the first 2, 1 coat. We'll definitely need another coat. So there'll be some footage of that after this as well. The seating itself has definitely seen better days. Faded, weathered, and blended into the background. I've started repainting them back to black, one at a time. I've managed to complete the first seat so far, but there's 5 more to go. February weather isn't exactly ideal for painting outdoors, so those will be finished in the next stage. I know I should have soaked these bulbs in water overnight, but I just forgot to do it, so we'll just have to see how that pans out. So what's left to do? Oh, it's chilly. So obviously these gravel beds all need dug out again. They need screened because they're full of soil, which we'll be able to do when they get dry. There's more benches to paint, and we've got more bulbs to put in as well. If the weather continues the way it is, 6-7 weeks we should be able to see them. There's a couple more of these still to dig out properly, which I think they're just full of soil. So we're going to have to try and get some new stone to put in as well. And like everything else that I do, that's going to take a part too. So I'll see you in that one.